Hello and welcome to Hamster Handling Part 2 with Mistletoe. So Mistletoe has been with us since Christmas, for those of you who have not met her yet. She's a really super awesome hamster. It's been a real joy getting to know her and watch her adapt, but we're having some problems with hamster handling. See, she's a very nervous one, and we have been taking things very, very slowly with her. And most of you probably already know that hamster handling is not a process that can be rushed. So therefore, we've been taking it very slow and just kind of doing what we can when we can. She's really awesome and has adjusted very well to most of the hamster handling. However, she still is pretty nervous with being held and going from hand to hand. So basically, when we first got her, she was extremely nervous of hands altogether, and any even slight movement of the fingers or hands made her extremely nervous. We've been using her ball to transport her from her cage to the playpen, or vice versa. And the hamster ball comes in handy for that, because that way we keep her safe, and it's really important to keep them as safe as possible. So using the hamster ball for transportation is really helpful and definitely keeps her safe. And I like to sit in the playpen with her. That way she stays as low to the ground as possible in case of accidents. And she is a very, very nervous one, as I said. So when Mistletoe gets nervous, though, Mistletoe gets extremely squirmy and jumpy. So if we weren't as low to the ground as possible, she could potentially get really seriously injured. So in order to keep your hamster as safe as possible, it's really important to keep them as low to the ground as possible. I introduced her to the Heidi pouch to try and get her a little bit more well adjusted to hamster handling. However, she didn't really seem, she loves going in the Heidi's and everything, but she didn't really seem into it for the handling part. Although it can be a really great way to hold your hamster, keep them safe, and keep you and the hamster a little bit more comfortable with the handling. But Mistletoe didn't really adjust very well to it at first. Also, we've had a lot of setbacks with our hamster handling time. Once she settled into her home, she pretty much made it very clear that everything was going to be on her terms. And we like our hamsters to be free and, be hamsters. So, we're good with that. But the thing is, she doesn't always want to come out of her house. So it's kind of decreased her opportunities for hamster handling time. Also, when she gets real nervous during some of our sessions, she will tend to kind of, I guess you would say, hide out for a little while. I was able to gain a little bit of trust with her using the pouch, but initially she kind of freaked out when I went to pick her up in it. She definitely gets real jumpy. So even in the pouch, initially she was real jumpy. And even though we've had a lot of setbacks lately with our handling time, we've also had a lot of progress made since she's been here. I mean, when she first arrived, like I said, any slight movement of the hands or fingers really freaked her out. I can pet her, anytime while she's out of her house, and she'll be fine with that. When she's in her house, she's very much on alert, and she's like a lot more cautious. I mean, she's always cautious, I feel, but I guess she's got her guard up more when she's in her house. Sometimes she'll freeze, like you'll see like a squirrel do a lot of times when you're passing by them. But a lot of times also she'll like kind of just like run away if you freak her out with too much movements. But she's really, really good now. For the most part, I would say. Because I can stick my hands in there while she's running on her wheel or eating or whatever and do the little spot cleanings that I do on a daily basis. And she's totally fine with that. But if I move my hands too quickly, she'll kind of just get caught off guard and, get a little spooked. But she does very, very well for the most part. And I can pet her pretty much at any time. So, anyway, I've been trying to make more attempts with her though for our handling sessions, but a lot of times she just doesn't want to come out of her house, and I'm not going to force her out of her house. We feel it's really important to let our fur babies just be themselves and to be able to do, what they want, when they want, as long as it's safe, pretty much. So I'm not going to force her out of her house if she doesn't want to come out of her house. However, if it's clean and day and I have to do a full cleaning, I will clean up as much as I can without asking her to come out. And then usually she'll decide to come out on her own if, that's the case. So as you just saw, I kind of, failed on the first attempt trying to get some trust gained with her using the Heidi. She definitely jumped a little bit, and I had to put her down right away on the rug. But then I was able to pet her right afterwards with no problem. So it's pretty much just the holding part and going from hand to hand that makes her still quite nervous. She is really amazing though to watch and be around. She's a real joy. I think it's really cute and funny that she always comes to me when I'm in the playpen with her. She loves to use my legs as like a little hiding spot or a pass through, which is like hilarious. That animals like to do that. But she's just really, really awesome. I mean, she's so friendly. She loves to be around you. And I just have been having so much fun, hanging out with her and everything. It's just the handling part that we have to get her more adjusted to because, if God forbid I need to do something for her, like, let's say for some reason she wasn't taking care of her nails and I had to trim her nails or, whatever the case might be. If I have to do anything for her and she's not well adjusted to the hamster handling, then she's, we're going to have a problem and we don't want that. So it is very important that you make sure your hamster is as comfortable as possible with, handling time. And handling them on a daily basis is a great way to get them used to it. But unfortunately, like I said, we haven't been able to do that with her every day lately. Well, I would say like the last few weeks, we've only been able to attempt hamster handling a few times a week because every few days or so, I would say, she decides that she's not coming out. And in fact, after this session, she didn't come out for several days. She didn't want to come out, I think, for it was like 3 days. She had gotten like really spooked at the one point, when I was trying to hold her. So I think that kind of just like set her off because, a few weeks ago too, she got a little bit spooked by my sudden hand movement, which I try not to do, but I guess I didn't realize that I was making a sudden movement. And she had gotten a little bit spooked and then didn't come out of her house, the next day. So sometimes she just does that. But it's real important that you still keep trying. And I always let her smell my hands and see my hands. So we haven't had a day go by where she hasn't, like, been around me or my hands. But which is really important because you don't want them to get adjusted to not seeing you or your hands, because then that'll set the whole process back even further. And we've had a lot of setbacks lately, but we're still trying. We're taking it one day at a time. And we're definitely very, very hopeful that in a few more weeks or so, and I've been probably saying this for a month now, but in a few more weeks or so, we're pretty hopeful that she'll be, pretty well adjusted to handling and, be a pro at it. But we just have to take it one day at a time. And some hamsters just don't really like being handled, and that's fine, but it's still important to, make every attempt that you can to get them as well adjusted as possible, so that, like I said, when the time, if or when the time comes, you need to do anything for them, for their care and safety, that, you are able to do so in a very safe manner, which is just not something that you can do if they're not well adjusted to handling. So hopefully she'll be a pro in no time, and like I said, we'll just keep taking it one day at a time. It really just all comes down to trust, so we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check back for more updates on mistletoe.